I went ahead and I made the heat shield. We've got it wrapped in some like thermo cooler, it's a reflective heat tape type stuff. As you can see, I've got it built here. Essentially attaches to the manifold, and then it's steel reinforced underneath. It's got a frame. We got the base plate on, but I'll go ahead and get it mounted up. And we've got the fuel lines rerouted to the back of the engine. They're just loosely in there. I put a 90-degree fitting on the fuel pump, which allows them to come up along the back up here, and then they'll run across and back down to the fuel injection. We had to modify the throttle body. I had to cut the top brackets off in order to clear this master cylinder. We're going to go ahead and bolt it up and get things kind of squared away. But yes, I had to cut the top brackets off in order to clear for this particular model. Came with two different gaskets, and looks like this is going to be the one that mounts up to the plate correctly. Got the gaskets in, the harness, vacuum lines. Go ahead and snug these down, but we've got to put our throttle bracket on. A throttle body that is mounted but not bolted up or tightened up, and we have a master cylinder that clears. Now I had to cut the top brackets off because it was going to hit this master cylinder, and you can see we've got enough room here for a bigger master cylinder. We'll have to figure out what kind of hat we want to use, probably like a Cobra head that fits on here and comes out, and we'll mount off the original bracket out here a cone filter, bring it out, pull a bracket up, and mount a cone filter right here. I think we got enough hood clearance. I'll have to look. We may have to bring it over here and bring a filter here and just run a bracket off this. We obviously don't want to move the original bracket. It's tied in with some head bolts. We've got plenty of vacuum lines built into the throttle body itself. There's actually 3. We've got the factory one right here. We may plug that and then use this one here just because, for simplicity's sake. I don't know if y'all can see that, but for simplicity's sake, we may grab this one here. But this is the heat shield bolted up with the throttle body in place. It's fitting good and snug. We've got 3 bolts here. Hopefully it holds up well. This tape I put on here, they said it's good for radiant heat of 2,000 degrees. So I'm hoping it doesn't peel in any way or anything like that. That's my hope anyway. And hopefully it shields some of the heat coming into this throttle body. Kind of holds it down. Got the new circuit breaker and the new relay mounted up here. Didn't use any new holes. This was an existing relay. I'm not quite sure what it does. It looks like these are some old either relays or circuit breakers. You know, it's all stock wiring. You can see it's all original wiring in here. So what we've done is we've added a circuit breaker right here, a 30 amp for the electric fan, and we'll bring all that wiring up around this way past the headlight and tie it all into this. And that way we'll have a key on, engine off, all that kind of good stuff. And we may end up bringing the wiring harness up over into here as well. Kind of follow it on around for the for the EFI. Either that or we'll take it around. I just don't like taking stuff around the front. Looks like we already have some stuff down in here though, which may work. You can see some of this wiring goes down underneath, back over and around, up over in this general area. So I'm not really quite sure what we're gonna do with that, but we'll get this figured out as we go. Little cap for the breaker. We'll tighten that baby up, get her good and solid. Got everything zip tied. We got our throttle cable on. We got our throttle body mounted up. Now we're just waiting on some new parts. Water pump, we ran into an issue. Got the wrong pump. We got a short one. Evidently they make multiple different pumps. They make multiple pumps for this dude. And there's short ones and long ones, and then there's some with a clutch fan and some without. Some short with a clutch fan, long with a clutch fan, and long and short without as well. Well, we've got a pump that's for a clutch fan. This thing didn't have a fan. We're going back to an electric fan, but our pulley won't fit. Our pulley is a 2-inch pulley, or 2-inch, bolt pattern pulley, and our fan, or our water pump, is for 2.5. So with that being said, we've got to figure out, order some more parts. And then when I took the thermostat housing off, we did break a bolt on that, and the other one was already broken. So there was a small weep, a very small weep in the coolant, little coolant leak, and I think we figured out where that comes from. So we got a new thermostat, we got a new lower housing coming, top housing still good. Was able to get all the broken bolts out of it. We're making progress. Next step is probably finish the fuel system, put the bung in the tank, and then we'll move on to do some wiring. And then we've got a transmission that needs power wash one more time and do some gasketing on it. And I got to pull the drive shaft today because we're going to have a new rear drive shaft made. I wanted to go ahead and mount up the fan, see how close we are. As you can see, we got some clearance down there with the crank pulley. I need to get the water pump in here before I finish mounting it up. We should be good. I really don't think we'll have a problem. I mean, if I need to, I'll modify the brackets, move it forward a little bit, or there's room up front here. We can adjust some things and make it work. We started the wiring of this bad dog. We've got the harnesses plugged in, got the throttle body bolted down. Fuel lines connected. They're not tight yet, but we've got the heat shield in, which I've showed you before. The throttle cable is attached. We're working on the pedal, getting it attached to the throttle body here. It's going to take, like I said, it's going to take a little bit of cleanup. We've got the relay and the circuit breaker, and then we started with the wiring harness, trying to put all this stuff together. It's the relay to power everything. That's going to get screwed to the firewall here. Got the secondary filter put on. We've got the primary before the pump and then the secondary after. Got our 90-degree fitting. And then here's the hot and the ground that gets attached to the battery. These wires here, I mean, this is a pretty nice kit. It's labeled. I mean, this is fuel pump positive. And then everything is labeled out really nice. We've got this blue wire that comes out of here. This is going to be our ground for our signal to turn on our electric fan, which will come on when the coolant temp sensor that we installed that's hooked to the throttle body and the brain that is right back there, it's basically, I've gone as far to drill a hole in the gas tank for the bulkhead fitting. This is for the return. As you can see, we pulled the tank, we filled it up full of water, we popped a hole in it, and this is where the bulkhead goes. Now it's a matter of trying to get inside here with a nut and a nylon. So I'm gonna have to build some kind of tool to hold that under there so I can hold that in place, get that threaded down and torque it down. That's the next step in the process of getting this return back in this tank. So what I've done here is I've taken this, I guess it's a socket holder. I've used some Right Stuff, which is absolutely my favorite kind of Permatex or gasket maker. And I've glued or stuck these washers and nut on here, which will allow me to feed it up in around inside. So what I did is I came up with this tool. I bolted a socket onto it so I could reach down inside, hold it from underneath, and crank it down tight. So we got her good and snug, and I think we'll be good to go.